This episode of Fern and Friends is brought to you by our sponsors at Island.io, Mechanized AI, and Torres Event Management. It's another sunny day here as we bring to you another edition of the Fern and Friends podcast, which is part of the Fern Effect. Welcome back, May. How is life in Singapore?
Fern, life here in Singapore is fabulous. We recently had the yachting festival, which was very engaging. I love the water and yachting, but the focus this year on wellness and health screenings was really touching for me.
I love that, May. Wellness is important for me as well. And I'd love to be on a luxury yacht.
I see today we have Priya Reddy joining us from back in the United States, Texas area. Let's see what we can find about Ms. Reddy in our research. Looks like she's not just a data leader, she's built and scaled entire data and AI functions from the ground up. Wow. From corporate leadership to launching her own consulting firm, she's now helping organizations turn AI into real business impact. And clearly she's not just talking about it. She's been recognized globally for her leadership in the space.
Thanks, May. It's an honor to have Priya on the podcast. She is a real data and tech leader. Let's jump into the conversation. All right, we're back, Priya. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Fern and Friends. And you know what? We've been spanning the globe, but now we're right here in Texas. So it's all in the U.S. This conversation is U.S. bound, but I'm sure we'll touch on something that's happening in the global workspace. Priya, thank you for joining Fern and Friends. You know, this is a quick, punchy conversation about AI and how you're using AI in your everyday and in every way. So Priya and I know each other. We work on a couple of nonprofit organizations here in the Dallas, Texas area. And she's just a phenomenal leader in the data space. And she's been in business for over 20 years. She now has her own consulting business. So she's the founder and CEO of Priya Reddy Consulting, which is focused on AI and data strategy and innovation. So Priya, welcome. So thank you for being a part of today's conversation. What's happening in your world with AI?
All right, Fern, it's great to meet you. And I'm very
Meet me,
excited to
girl,
be
you
here.
know me.
Meet you on the podcast, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's happening in my world? There is so much happening. I mean, we all know how the times have been lately, last 4 or 5 years, especially with generative AI. So I'll give you two perspectives, right? Last 20 years, I spent time in the corporate world where building and scaling data and analytics departments and preparing the organizations to implement and enable AI. That has been such a great experience, and last few years have been tremendous in that space. But now I'm on the other side where I'm building. I'm doing the consulting, helping the organizations and leaders to build and enable responsibly and ethically. But in terms of the tools, I don't chase the tools. I think about what is the new way of working. How do we
Right.
work with this new AI? I mean, I don't consider this as a software. So I'm like looking at it like moving from AI as a software to AI as a team member, AI as a
Okay.
coach, AI as a companion, right? So I'm excited about both the virtual AI and physical AI. Let's talk more about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on in adoption. There's a lot going on about AI for efficiency's sake, right? And they're not just speeding up, organizations are not just speeding up, but fundamentally changing. And you just talked about that a little bit. So share with me like how this redesign is happening within organizations. And now that you're working with different businesses in your consultant practice, you're probably seeing it from a couple of different vantage points, not just from, I think you were prior in the financial area, so you're having a different purview. What's your take around this whole AI efficiency and the redesign of business?
That's a great question and very relevant and timely, Fern. So when I was working at the corporate world in financial services, even though I was more focused on financial services, fintech, but data and AI are transferable skills. They are applied similarly. The concept is same. It is about efficiencies, productivity, impacting the customer service, improving human interaction or experience, right? But what across my experience with corporates as well as now consulting, right? Consulting is giving me a bigger lens, or I would say, overarching experience about how organizations are implementing AI. But among all of those experiences, there is one common thread that I'm seeing. Either they are not doing it right or they are missing a point, right?
Okay.
I see that change management because a lot of the organizations are quick in adapting AI. They just want to buy the tool or build it and implement it. But they are missing that effective change management, right? You talked about redesigning, re architecting, right? I
Right.
don't think that is happening in a way that it needs to,
Okay.
because earlier the workflows were designed for humans to handle, right?
Right.
Humans to make decisions. But now with the generative AI and agentic AI, they come with so much speed and agility. And I don't think workflows are able to handle that speed. So that's where they are failing. So instead of incorporating AI, generative AI, or AI agents in the current workflow that are designed for humans, we will have to re-architect the solution fundamentally. That's where they're missing it.
So you know what? We talk this. This comes up, and you and I have been in tech long enough to know we always hear about people, process, and technology, and that it takes all three in order to really drive adequate change, right? So you talked about the change management piece. You can't just slap in a new tool and the new technology without looking at the business process and then
Right.
making sure the change management happens for the people and they understand it. So I think what you're saying is spot on. The redesign can't just be throwing in the tools. It's let's looking at what problem we're solving,
Exactly.
and what's the process that has to actually improve in addition to just putting in a tool in there. So I think that that is perfect, perfect, perfect. All right.
Absolutely, and just want to expand on that, right?
Yeah.
So when you purchase a new tool or build a new tool, the adoption doesn't happen automatically, right? You have to make the adoption happen. You have to be intentional about it. I have seen organizations buying those tools or adding co-pilots in their organization, but people are still going to that, old Excel. Why are
Yeah.
they doing it? Because you are just adding the tool, but you haven't really enabled the organization. You haven't really impacted the culture to enable that use of AI.
So I think it's about applying some practical lessons, right? So that they don't have fear when they're trying to adopt it, but make it really usable, so they understand how to transform the way they work, not just automate and have a faster process that folks don't really need to understand how they want to use that. So I
Exactly.
completely agree. What do you think is the top three leadership skills people need in business today when using AI?
That's another great question. So first thing I feel that that is really critical, and I would say that's the most important skill for this decade is asking right questions, because these AI systems are probabilistic. They are not deterministic. The outputs are going to be as better as the questions you're asking. So when we are using these tools, the prompt engineering is very important.
Yeah.
How intentionally you're asking the question, right? First, you got when it comes to business lens, how are we defining that business problem, and are we really articulating in a way that our teams and agents, that the teams that are mix of humans and AI agents, whether they will be able to understand clearly and execute intentionally, right? That's one fundamental question. And the second one is curiosity. I mean, I have been hearing that word lately a lot because we are in that space where technology is changing rapidly, more than ever. I think I haven't seen this kind of space in my lifetime so far. So we all have to be curious about what's out there and learn. Because if you ask me what AI tools I'm using today, right, I'll
Yeah.
give you an answer. If you ask me next week, that would
It'll be
change
different.
because we are constantly experimenting the tools. And it's about fit for purpose, right? Using the right tool for the right purpose. I wouldn't use eggs to do a surgery. So that's one thing. We need to be curious about learning what's out there, what's changing, because these vendors and builders are constantly updating their capabilities. So we need to keep learning. And I talked about curiosity, right? Third one I would say is continuous learning.
Okay.
That is period. That is an important skill that we all have. Either you are a college student or just got out of the college and entering to career, or a leader like us, or somebody who wants to retire. Still you got to use AI in this world, because whether they know it or not, we are already using AI in our
Yeah.
day-to-day life. So the more we understand, the more we get comfortable with AI is going to get comfortable with us, and
Yes.
it is going to give us better outcomes.
All right, so I think these are three great things: be inquisitive, curiosity, continuous learning. Awesome. All right, so I know that this conversation that we have today in 30 days, excuse me, in 60 days and 90 days might change. But what are your top tools that you're using? Because my boyfriends, and I used to be exclusive to Claude, and we had a really good relationship. But then his cousin ChatGPT just got better and better, and he knows me just as well. So I have two boyfriends. I got Claude and ChatGPT. Who are your cousins?
I love that. I love that. And for to be honest, I'm not loyal to any particular tool.
Oh,
So
okay.
uh, I'm using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot.
Yeah, I'm using
And with
Perplexity and
my
Copilot. Yeah.
podcast, I use Riverside, CapCut, Adobe tools, and I'm learning these new agentic AI tools as well. They're all new to me. I'm
Okay.
still learning, but there is so many. I mean, so many tools that I'm using currently, and like we discussed, tomorrow it could be different
It would be
because new
different.
tools coming in. I'm constantly exploring what is the right tool for my workflow. So keeps
Yeah.
changing,
Awesome.
but I'm so excited about the space right now.
I'm excited too. So we're going to pin it there. Great, short, punchy conversation. We're using a ton of tools. We're making it work in our everyday. We're making it work for our business customers. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode, and we will see you soon. And I'll probably be talking to you tomorrow or maybe in the next hour. I don't know. All right, Priya Reddy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Fern. Take care.
Bye bye.
I really enjoyed your talk today, Fern. Priya is in a great space now, between coding, AI, and her new consulting business. She is a very busy woman managing it all. Here are a few golden nuggets for our audience members. To start, AI isn't just something you use, it's something you work with. But the real impact only shows up when you rethink how the work itself is structured. Next, it's not a technology problem, it's a people problem. Success with AI comes down to adoption, mindset, and whether teams actually embrace it in their day-to-day. And finally, here's what really sticks. Stay curious, keep evolving, and focus on asking better questions. That's the real advantage in a fast-moving AI world.
Thanks, May. Thank you for bringing to life a few points to help crystallize the message from Priya. Thank you, Priya, for being part of the Fern and Friends conversation around AI, every day, every way. Now, a very special thanks to our sponsors, Island.io, Mechanized AI, and Torres Event Management. We appreciate your support in making this Fern and Friends episode come to life. Okay, friends, join the podcast next week at Fern and Friends.